I'm Lelia Bush, one of your Polks, with an important tip to share. As you begin to help your dealers enroll in the Preferred Owner Program or dust off that box to help relaunch, make sure you help them implement a strong strategy at the outset so the program won't fizzle out before it can get going. If your dealer is one that is only willing to give a one-time offer, he may only have one opportunity at seeing that customer again. And if the offer, for example, is the value of a free oil change, the dealer won't even generate any revenue for the store when the customer arrives to redeem it. This strategy will surely fizzle out because no dealer is in the business of giving without receiving. Also, if the dealer's offers are considered, even by his standards, too low of an incentive to drive customers back to the store once, let alone repeatedly, the program will fizzle out. So, it's important to help our dealers visualize how they intend to define their card parameters before relaunch and setup. This allows the dealer to see exactly how each transaction will flow with every swipe. And more importantly, it allows the dealer to determine for themselves if their defined preload and cashback reward will be strong enough to push customers back into the dealership multiple times, increase the retention, and pull in customer pay revenue. To help with this exercise, the push-pull worksheets in the appendix of the relaunch manual is a tool to use with the dealer. Here's how it works. Most dealers tend to just use the default card parameters: $250 sales preload, $25 service preload, and 5% cashback. To start, I always let the dealer see what that looks like. So the dealer intends to push his customers back into the dealership at maintenance intervals. So at the 7,500-mile maintenance interval, the LOF is performed, the MPI is performed, and the transaction for the LOF is $39.95. The cashier then subtracts the $25 preload. $39.95 minus the $25 preload is $14.95, which is the amount of customer pay dollars pulled from the customer's pocket and into the dealership. At that point, retention increases. Additionally, the dealer allows the customer to earn 5% cash back on the $14.95 to use toward the next customer pay transaction. So 5% of $14.95 is 74 cents. At this point, I always ask the dealer if 74 cents is enough to push the customers back in for the next maintenance interval. And generally, at this point, my dealers say no. The dealer rethinks his strategy and redefines his card parameters with a $60 service preload. His terms and conditions allows $10 plus any reward earnings to be used per transaction. So what that looks like is the dealer still pushing his customers in at maintenance intervals. The customer arrives at the 7,500-mile maintenance interval to redeem their offer. The LOF is performed, the MPI is performed, and the transaction at this point is $39.95. The cashier subtracts the $10 incentive, and $39.95 minus 10 is $29.95, and that's the amount that's pulled out of the customer's pocket and into the dealership. At this point, retention increases. The customer additionally is allowed to earn 5% cash back of the $29.95 to use toward the next customer pay transaction. 5% of $29.95 is $1.49. leaving the new card balance at $51.49. At this point, I ask the dealer if he believes that $51.49 is a strong enough incentive or balance that remains on the card to push the customer back in for the 10,000-mile maintenance interval, and he agrees that it is. So at the 10,000 mile maintenance interval, the customer arrives, the LOF is performed, the MPI is performed, and the transaction at this maintenance interval is also $39.95 at this dealership. The cashier then subtracts $10 plus the amount earned from the last visit, which was $1.49. So the cashier subtracts a total of $11.49 from $39.95, and $28.46 is pulled out of the customer's pocket and into the dealership. Again, the customer is allowed to earn 5% cash back on $28.46 to use toward the next customer pay visit. 5% of $28.46 is $1.42, leaving the new card balance at $41.42. Again, the dealer agrees that $41.42 is a strong enough incentive to push the customer back into the dealership at the 15,000 mile maintenance interval. So the customer arrives, the LOF is performed, the MPI is performed, and the transaction at this maintenance interval is a little bit more. It's $69.95 at this dealership because in addition to the LOF, a rotation and balance is conducted and an oil filter is generally replaced. The cashier then subtracts the $1.42 that was earned the last visit plus $10, which is $11.42 is deducted from the invoice balance, which leaves $58.53 that the customer pays, pulls out of their pocket and into the dealership. Retention increases. Again, the customer is allowed to earn 5% cash back to use toward the next customer pay transaction. 5% of $58.53 is $2.92, leaving the new card balance of $32.92, which the dealer considers a strong enough incentive to keep the cycle going, and the cycle just continues. And that's how the push-pull worksheets work.